President Bola Tinubu does not have any dog in this fight, but he inherited this problem. And if you want peace, you must reach an agreement with Nnamdi Kanu himself, with his agitation and everything, so that the federal government should reach an agreement, and if this man will be left off the hook, he should go and sin no more, but he must stop his agitation to carry out referendum or enemies divide the country.
A resolution of this matter through dialogue. It's not every matter that you can resolve through court processes. Neither can you resolve every matter by going to war. So, for me, I do not want to foreclose the possibility of Nnamdi Kanu giving up this struggle. In fact, I see a lot of positives in his most recent actions. You know, Nnamdi Kanu did a handwritten letter cancelling the sit-at-home exercise on Mondays, and at any time for that matter. So I believe that there is an opportunity there for us to further seek the resolution of this matter through dialogue. For him to have gone to that extent, it shows that he too has seen that there's no sense in telling people to sit in their homes and beating up people for going to work on Mondays or 4 days. So perhaps this signals that Nnamdi Kanu could be available to make peace on this matter. And I remember that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu during his campaign said he was prepared to negotiate with aggrieved persons in the southeast. I want to believe that IPOB is an aggrieved body in the southeast, and since Asiwaju Tinubu promised during his campaign that he will be willing to dialogue with them, I think the president should put machinery in motion to put an end to Kanu's detention, because I believe a political solution is possible, and that is the point that Representative Obinna Agwocha from Abia State was making, that look, let us release this man. If he's released, we are sure that there will be peace in that region. I know that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a peace-loving person. He's a man who believes a lot in dialogue. A lot of people thought he simply wanted to go to war in Niger, and you can see his most recent comments suggest that he's actually the one holding back his colleagues, heads of government in ECOWAS, that look, let's pursue peace on this matter. And he actually told the Americans that that is what he's committed to. So I think the possibility of dialogue should not be foreclosed. Both sides should be ready to dialogue, and if Kanu will give up armed struggle and his commitment to balkanizing Nigeria, I'm sure that the federal government will be ready to make peace with him. It's not an impossibility. Nobody can get up in America today and say that he wants to break up America and expect that he won't be resisted. The American law does not permit any of the federating units to try to get out of the union. They are going to be resisted. So, and that's how it is with our country too. Kanu has to give the agitation up in exchange for lasting peace.
Do you see this Kanu renouncing what he has been agitating for?
I think it will happen. It has happened already the way it is. Because like Mikio noted, he wrote a note. It wasn't typed, handwritten, saying the Monday sit at home should be called off. And then they turned it into Empowerment Monday. Type of empowering people in order to get back to their businesses. It's a huge departure from where we are coming from, where he had been talking consistently about ensuring that the Southeast breaks away from Nigeria. So we are beginning to see some good vibes, to use the language of the Gen Zs in what is happening now. If he has made this much commitment, then I think it's not impossible to talk him out of this completely. Because where he is now, there's very little he can do in terms of any agitation, and then also his position is changing. Even the people in the Southeast are calling for a breather. With the amount of money that they lose weekly to the sit-at-home, or which they have lost to the sit-at-home, it has become very clear that the agitation cannot be sustained. It can't. Otherwise, you are just going to ruin the whole of the Southeast economically. And as we know, they are some of the best businessmen and women around the country and even around the world.
Well, now you can't back down.
Well, the feelers we are getting seem to indicate that the man has had a change of mind. The weekly sit-at-home has not helped the people that he was fighting for, or been fighting for. Although the man the bad boy in Finland is saying that those messages that are said to be coming from his principal are not. But I think he has his own agenda. But you know what comes to my mind? You know, I'm thinking about the struggle in Niger Delta in the days when you had men and you had the faceless Jomobomo, being the spokesman for, it was just a fictitious name. The show of might didn't solve the problem in Niger Delta until an amnesty was extended to them, and you had a lot of militants. They repented. You know that Sintedeke now, who is a repentant militant, and he's doing he has huge investment in agriculture in Nasarawa State. So I think that we can use other means. I'm actually disposed to the idea of releasing Nnamdi Kanu, if it is confirmed that he's going to toe the path of peace and is going to be an arrowhead of maintaining peace and save of peace and all of that in his region. I also hope that his release would calm those who are giving excuse that because what they call it, or is identity persecuted. I mean, they think it's being persecuted by the authorities. I think it's possible that they'll have a change of mind, And the bad boy in Finland, we have no excuse anymore. You can't say Nnamdi Kanu is the reason he's doing the nonsense that is causing to happen in the Southeast.
So, Julie, ultimately moving forward, what do you advise this administration to do?
The situation has to be watched closely, and people will say, oh, there are more important things on Tinubu's plate at this time, but they should keep an eye on this development, and if there is an opportunity and a serious effort at dialoguing, then government should embrace it. There is no there is no problem that is intractable. I believe that there have been other people across the world more difficult to manage than Nnamdi Kanu, that in the end, they sat together, government sat with them and opted for peace. I believe that is a possibility. We saw what happened in South Africa, where even the people killing one another, there was a sort of power sharing that ensured that they were made vice president and they stopped the black on black violence, very embarrassing black on black violence in South Africa at that time. The Buthelezis men slaughtering ANC men. It came to an end at some point through dialogue, not through the usual cutting of people's necks. It was dialogue that prevailed in the final analysis. So those who always ask me, why are you asking for Kanu's release? I'm asking for his release on conditions. If it will agree not to take up arms against Nigeria anymore, if he will renounce his Biafran agitation in favor of a united Nigeria, I will be ready to carry placards and work for his release without the court exhausting the process. This is what I've seen happen in other countries, and I believe that it can happen in my country, even under the current administration. But Kanu has to lead the way. Kanu's people have to be the ones demanding for it and promising that they will take certain steps that will ensure that government does not regret releasing him.